Hi, it's Stefania over at Sleep Stories and Classic Fairy Tales for Kids. And we've got a different kind of story for you. This is a fairy tale. It's about a magical kingdom, animals, prince and princess, and a king, foxes, all manner of magical worlds. This is called A Tale of the Northland Kingdom. It's going to be in several parts. Can't read it all today, but we'll get there. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up. Let's go. A Tale of the Northland Kingdom. Long, long ago, in certain far-off regions of the world, there was a land of ice and snow, and this land was called the Northland Kingdom. There each year the ice broke on the rivers and flowed out to the sea, and the snow melted in the valleys. Then corn and rye and other good grains would grow, but these mild seasons were short, and for the most part, ice and snow abounded everywhere. Added to this, in the time of my tale, there was no light in the Northland Kingdom. All time was deep gray twilight or inky darkness, and there was no day. Neither moon nor stars had ever pierced the overhanging gloom and mists, and the sun had never shone on the Northland Kingdom. Reindeer flitted silently through this land of shadows, and great white bears made their homes in icy caves by the sea. When the birds of passage reached this land of darkness, they trilled their softest songs in winter rest. And when they waked, they soared away in search of brighter lands. But knowing nothing of the light of day, the folk of this dark land mourned not its lack, and were content to dwell ever in shadow. 1,000 silver lamps and myriads of waxen tapers gleamed always in the palace of the king, and in the fields the workers sowed and reaped by the light of flaming torches. The herders built great fires on the hillsides, and in their light and warmth told their flocks. The housewives spun by firelight. Now, in the time of which I will tell, the good King Tamna ruled the Northland Kingdom. He was a wealthy servant, even as the wealth of kings is reckoned. King Tama owned 1,000 mountains of gold and silver, and the fish of 10,000 streams. Herds of reindeer and caribou beyond all counting were also his, as well as the forests and the plains over which they roamed. Beside all of this, King Tamna was sovereign lord of 100 princes of the Northland Kingdom. These 100 princes paid King Tamna tribute. That is to say, they bought him yearly portions of their flocks and herds and of their grain and gold and all that was theirs, for such was the law of the Northland Kingdom. Now, good King Tamna had a daughter, Maiden Matanuska, princess of the silver birches. She was so called because her marriage portion was a forest of silver birch that lay between two swift-flowing streams that reached from sea to sea. Some folk thought Maiden Matanuska was part wood sprite, for in spite of the dark and shadows, she would roam for hours in the paths and lanes among the birches and wasn't afraid. The Maiden Matanuska understood the language of the trees and learned from them just when the ice and the snow would melt. The silver foxes that roamed this forest were her pets. They frisked and followed her about like faithful dogs, and though their furs were worth a king's fortune, Maiden Matanuska would not consent to have them slain. For this thing the silver fox were grateful, and loved her dearly. They taught her secrets never before known by men, and from their wisdom Maiden Matanuska learned to tell when the icy winds would blow and snow begin to fall, and when the grain would grow again. Maiden Matanuska understood the songs of the birds as well, and when the birds of passage sang of other lands where there was the light of day, she listened eagerly. But when she begged these birds to sing her more, they answered her with sleepy chirps, for birds would not sing long in that dark land. It was from these sweet songs the birds of passage sang that Maiden Matanuska came to know that there was such a thing as light of day. The more she heard, the more she longed to see this marvel. While she wandered in her birchen forest, she would dream bright dreams of other lands, she knew not where. Lands where ice and snow were not, but gay flowers bloomed instead, and there was day as well as night. "Oh, my father," she said with a sigh, "how pleasant our land would be if all the shadows and the gloom departed for a time, and we had light of day as well as night." "Ah, yes, my daughter," said King Tamna with an answering sigh, "but how to brighten this dark land I know not. For your sake I would that I could, but for my sake I care not. Now I am growing old, and must journey all alone to lands where light or darkness matters not." "Oh, my father, speak not of that time," cried Maiden Matanuska, bursting into tears. She loved her father tenderly, and knew he spoke of the time when he would die. If you were not here with me, neither light nor darkness would matter to me, and I would be so desolate and lonely." "Then speak no more of your longing for light," replied the king. "It grieves me that I cannot give you what you most desire. But before I have departed from this life, I hope to see you wedded to some brave prince who will love you and protect you in my place." And though Maiden Matanuska vowed she wished no prince at all, her father gave her protests no heed. "There is a handsome youth who wears a feather mantle, with whom I see you wandering in the forest." "Who is he?" King Tama asked. "He is Prince Kenai of the Burning Mountain," said the maiden. "He too has dreams of light, and tells me wonder tales which I do love to hear." Prince Kenai is the poorest prince in all the Northland kingdom," said the king. "But if his wonder tales please you, I shall say nothing." Now, as may be supposed, there was no lack of suitors for the maiden's hand. Indeed, these 100 princes of the Northland kingdom each longed to marry her. She was the fairest maiden in the land, and moreover, she was as lovely of mind and manner as she was fair of face. There came at last a certain night when good King Tama sat in state to greet his tribute-bearing princes, and Maiden Matanuska sat beside her father. In robes of purple velvet, bordered deep with ermine, and thickly sewn with threads of beaten gold, with a golden crown and scepter too, King Tamna looked a very king of kings, a monarch of great state and dignity. The Maiden Matanuska, robed in shimmering gossamer white, her golden hair that fell about her like a cloak, crowned with a wreath of leaves, and in her hand a holly branch, looked like some angel newly come from paradise. She seemed some lovely maiden in a dream who would perhaps take flight and float away with encircling gloom and mists. These 100 princes knelt before the throne and begged the lovely maiden's hand in marriage. At this, the king was troubled, for clearly Maiden Matanuska could not wed them all, and how to choose among them he knew not. At last, the royal counselors advised him in the following way. Now, since these 100 youths be princes all, and therefore suitable in rank to wed your daughter, let Maiden Matanuska for herself decide which ones she'll wed. When this was told, the maiden Matanuska sat at some time in thought, and then she spoke. I'll wed the prince who brings to me the thing which I have never seen before, for which I long with all my heart, and which I shall love well. And that's the end of today's portion. What are those 100 princes going to do? How are they going to even figure out what she's talking about? There might be one who knows. We'll be back very soon with the next part of this story, which is called A Tale of the Northland Kingdom. If you want to get the story on the story when it will next be back, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button, and you'll get news when the story is ready for you. That's it for now. Take care. Be good. See you again soon.